Hi guys, Foo here, and I'm bringing you the first ever Foo's movie reviews. Now you may be asking yourself, why should I listen to you? Who cares what you think about movies? Well, I don't really have a good reason, aside from I worked as a projectionist for a long time, so I've watched a lot of movies. And honestly, Creature was probably the worst movie I've ever had the misfortune of seeing. Other movies like Ninja Assassin or Piranha 3D were so bad or so stupid that they were funny, but this just had me sitting in the theater raging, going that's literally what it looked like the whole time. And it was lucky that I was the only person in there and that I could just scream at this film the whole time. There's nothing here that I found positive. So let's start out with the premise of this film, or the start of this film anyway. You get the start of this film, some swamplands, okay, it's all grainy and sepia, so it looks old, and then you get this woman who has to gratuitously strip, except she looks like a skeleton and she's not even good looking, and then she has to go swimming in a swamp, and I don't know who goes swimming naked in a swamp. I mean, there's like leeches and stuff in there, but she does, and then bottom, an alligator, oh no, bottom, alligator, and then, oh no! But you don't actually see the alligator attack, you just see her sink underwater. And then she crawls back on land, and then you go, her legs are gone, aren't they? Lo and behold, her legs are gone and she dies. So why did we get this woman naked swimming in a swamp? I don't know. And then you see a close-up of her necklace, and oh, that's a plot point for later. So then we get the buddy film start out, they're all in a car, everyone's got their girlfriend, or it turns out one of them is actually a sister, but they're together anyway, and that's one of my major issues with this film anyway, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But, so they're in a buddy film. It says they're 8 miles from, I think it was Fort Collins, but I don't think there's Fort Collins in Louisiana. I think that's in Colorado, guys. So they're 8 miles from someplace, which isn't really that far, and they were on a major interstate, they said, so they're really not that far from civilization in any case, but apparently they're so far out of the way that they're in some little occult crazy place, and they stop to go to the bathroom and end up talking to these old people who first off get mad at them and then start threatening to murder them because they were making fun of the local legend, and then they go, oh no, here's a map to where the local legend lives, have fun. So then they go off. The guy who is sort of the jerky main character of the film is like, oh no, I'm attacked by spiders, let's go to this stupid Bigfoot swamp cabin thing. I don't know why. And then they decide to camp there. Again, I don't know why. Why don't you drive up the road to where there's beer and hotels? But no, you're going to stay by this creepy cabin where there's snakes and alligators and who knows what's sitting in there. So then they do, and they all get drunk and high, because we need to be drunk and high. Then the main character guy calls one of the guy's sisters, but it's so poorly written and edited that I can't tell who he's referring to when he keeps calling this person sister, because all the girls are there. So it took us like half the film to figure out who the sister even was. Then there's a gratuitous lesbian sex scene, which was completely unnecessary. Then a snake almost comes for them while they're getting jiggy with it, but it's stopped by the guy, this other guy, who's dating one of the girls who's doing it. But you don't actually ever see him kill the snake, you just see some stock footage of a snake, and then he goes, "Kwah!" and there's blood everywhere. So then we have yet another sex scene with the Marine and his chick, and then the jerky guy is taking pictures of them and is getting off on that, and then his sister comes to help, which is really, really creepy. And then we start seeing the creature, and then we find out that the townsfolk are in with the creature. They're helping it somehow. Ooh, you know what would be more interesting if the townsfolk were the creature? Then we could get like some Scooby-Doo unmasking. It would be way less cheesy with Scooby-Doo unmasking. Creature comes, apparently steals the whole tent with one of the lesbian chicks in it, and takes her away, and then you think she dies. Then it turns out the jerky blue guy is actually one of the townsfolk. What a twist! And so then he starts attacking everyone, the group starts splitting up, and then everyone's dying left and right, heads are flying. There's really dumb violence, and then you finally see the creature. It's part man, part alligator, made that way because it was some hillbilly living by itself in an incestual family, and they ran out of people, and it was just him and his sister, and she was pregnant, and then she got eaten by the alligator, so he goes, kills the alligator, and then eats his sister and the alligator, and becomes the alligator man himself. What? That doesn't even make sense. That's the premise for your movie? That's some backwater hillbilly incestual thing, ate people, and then evolved into an alligator? That doesn't even... Ugh! So that's one of the main points of the film that makes no sense whatsoever. And then we get this weird, oh, screwing your sister's okay, which comes back several times in the film. So now we know why there's an alligator man, kind of, and the townspeople are helping him because they've decided he's God, and they're all, I guess, in his weird alligator incest family. And then we find out that Jerky Guy's one of them, so then he steals his sister, and it turns out the guy they met at the gas station's actually his father, so they tie her up, chop off her feet, and then the alligator man comes for her. But it turns out he doesn't want her, because obviously she's a sex sacrifice. So he ends up killing her. The chick in the tent we think is dead, so now we have his Marine and his chick. They get separated because Jerk Guy comes and is like, oh no, everyone's going crazy, help me! So the Marine runs off to save him, leaves his chick alone with him, and then the alligator steals her. So then you have Marine Guy off, he gets shot, and then finally starts kicking butt and goes Rambo on everyone's butt. But he has this shot wound the whole movie, but we never see or hear from it again. So he decides, that's it, I'm gonna go save my woman. So he crawls into the alligator's lair and comes to save her, and she's all traumatized, and then she's like, where's my brother, who was one of the other guys on the trip, I guess. We don't hear about that till, like, this point in the movie. I'm completely confused by this whole thing. And so then the alligator's chasing them, they're running away, and they try to get in the boat, but they can't, and then the alligator throws her brother's head at her, and she's freaking out, and I'm like, just leave her. Go, Marine Man, you're better off without her, seriously. Somehow, she ends up captured by the townsfolk, and since the alligator didn't like the sister chick, who was of his bloodline or whatever, they end up tying her to some weird thing, and then they're, like, chanting about how he can take her, and then they're like, yeah, with your seed, she'll be better, continue the bloodline, and what? I don't know. So anyway, she's passed out, waiting for the alligator to come to her. The Marine is coming to fight the alligator. Then they have a fight scene, and you realize that the alligator suit doesn't move its mouth or its head at all. They end up fighting, and a sinkhole kills the alligator guy, and the Marine comes to save his woman. It turns out that the swamp doesn't kill the swamp monster. Woo! So he comes out of the swamp, and then takes the woman, and then the Marine guy dives in after. And you're thinking, oh, I finally get a fight scene that's worth a curse. No, you don't. Because the only part of this film you want to see is taken from you. You don't see the fight scene. Next thing you know, there's cheesy, triumphant music, and the Marine crawls out of the mud, carries his girlfriend to safety, and they drive off to civilization, and that is it. That is it for the monster. Oh, he's carrying its jaw, and they throw it out, and an armadillo eats it. An armadillo? Why do we even need an armadillo? I don't even. That's my, this whole film is just, I don't even. So then the next scene, you get the gas station where the father is, and there's balloons everywhere, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a baby shower, because one of the chicks actually got pregnant. The one you thought died that was having lesbian sex in the tent actually had the monster's baby, and is now a part of this weird cult incest family thing. Why did she stay there? Why? Oh my gosh, this monster got me pregnant. Run, woman! What the heck? This is like the weirdest case of Stockholm Syndrome I have ever even heard of. And that is it for the movie. And then you get the credits, and they give you little snapshots of the film you just saw. Because I'm apparently so ADD, I cannot remember what I just watched. This film was a waste of my time. I don't know why I watched all of it. I should have gone to see Shark Night. I should have gone to see anything other than this film. It made no sense. The writing was horrible. I couldn't tell who people were talking to. The effects were awful. It was cheesy. You could tell when there was stock footage. There were no redeeming qualities to this. So if you really want to torture yourself or double dog dare someone, tell them to watch Creature. Because otherwise this film has no use, and I don't know why it's a wide release. This should have gone straight to DVD. It's the dumbest thing I can ever think of. So, tell me what you think of the movie. Rage with me about how stupid this was and how many brain cells I lost just by watching this crap. And subscribe, because I like subscribers. See you guys next time.